Good morning, everyone. My name is Toby Balfre, and I come from Databricks. I think the first thing I wanted to do is it's really great to be back. I came a couple of years ago, and I think the thing that always strikes me about DIS is the community and the sense of sort of just having a lot of fun and a great atmosphere. So the first thing I'd like to do is just ask you all to give a huge round of applause to the organizers and everyone who's contributed. I think it's a brilliant event. Thank you very much. OK, the second thing I'd like to do is I heard rumors that there was a party until 2 a.m. I've been good. I was in bed, of course, by 9 a.m. But I did see, I just wanted to highlight there are coffee stations there and there. If that isn't enough, I also saw that Accenture have donuts on their stand. So anyone who needs it, I would pop over there soon if you want to. So what I'd like to talk to you about is it's not just the exciting opportunity around Gen AI. I'm sure you sort of are well aware of that. But how do you actually go from the opportunity and the experimentation actually into production, and what are the challenges people face in that? So look, I think it's amazing what OpenAI have done really in the Gen AI market. The technology has been around for quite a while, but in a couple of years, they've really helped crystallize the market and make everyone realize that you can use that today. It's not just in the future. And you now see of companies of over $1 billion in revenue, over 90% of those organizations are already experimenting with AI and looking at what it can mean with them. Now, that number shoots up to 97% if you look at organizations of over $10 billion of revenue. What's really crazy as well is that over 3/4 of CEOs already realize and appreciate that companies that are leveraging AI are going to have significant market advantage. Now, that isn't just, yes, we're going to grow quicker, that's clear, but it's also going to help them transform the customer experience. And I think in this market where there's so many ways that customers can move between businesses, you don't get that brand loyalty that you had 20 years ago. Being able to provide that unique and best customer experience is going to help you retain customers. But it's not just about customer experience, it's also about productivity. And what we see is that those teams that leverage AI are over 40% more effective than those teams who don't use it. So lots of reasons, and what's amazing in such a short period of time is that even up to the C-level and the CEO, the opportunity is seen. However, it's great that everyone is experimenting with Gen AI and seeing that, but most companies are really struggling to go from that experimentation phase into actual production Gen AI capabilities that they can trust. And this is a huge issue for companies trying to turn that investment into actual benefit. So what I want to do is just walk through some of the areas that people are struggling with and just go through some examples. Oh, that's interesting. So what are the areas that people are struggling with? So in order for your Gen AI model, it may be great that it has overall accuracy, and you have lots of benchmarks now available for different Gen AI solutions. But is it going to actually represent what you need in your business? Is it going to be safe, not just for the users, but for your business? Is it going to damage your business accidentally in any way? And are you going to be able to govern it? And if we look at some of these concerns as examples, so I'm sure some of you have seen these already. The one on the left is by Chevy, where because the Gen AI solution didn't actually have context, it found itself recommending a competitor's product. So there, someone is asking about Chevy trucks, and it's going, hey, you should look at a Ford 150. Now, I don't know about you, but I would probably be shot by my boss if I built a Gen AI solution that recommended our competitor's product. Similarly, in the middle, the Gen AI chatbot just made up a policy around bereavement and refunds, and Air Canada found themselves actually under a lot of pressure to then honor that policy. And so if your chatbot says things to your customers that it just makes up, that's going to be pretty bad because you're going to find yourself in difficult situations. Then on the third side there is a fictitious but pretty common example where someone asks a question of a chatbot, of a Gen AI chatbot, And it gives information about other people or information that could be sensitive that it really shouldn't do. And you need to be able to govern against those. Looking a bit further then, so in Databricks, we call employees a Brickster. So I am a Brickster. However, when we ask that question of ChatGPT, because it doesn't have the semantics and understanding and the context of why I'm asking that question, you see it actually goes to the only answer it really knows, which is actually a Brickster is also someone who enjoys collecting Lego bricks. Now, I will leave you to decide which is cooler, being a Brickster in Databricks or being a Lego collector. I have a couple of boys. Yeah. I have a couple of 10-year-old boys, and we love our Legos, so they quite like this example. Then another Chevy example is actually, when I was talking about safety, you don't want people to be able to try and attack you with the chatbot. So in this example, you see that someone is trying to actually provide context and prompt engineering within the way they're asking their questions to try and get a deal that they would never otherwise do. So I don't know about you, but it's probably like a bad thing if that someone can either sort of trigger buying a van for $1 and feeling that that has to be honored. And if any chatbot says take C, back Cs, then I think we need to discuss life, right? So clearly that's around, you need guardrails and safety around what the chatbot can do. Then lastly, when we're looking at like governance, what you see here is someone who has actually used OpenAI to try and automatically generate the product descriptions that they post to Amazon to sell. And what they've done is they've somehow triggered a policy violation, and so the actual the answer that's come back is sorry, I can't answer this question. But they haven't had governance, they haven't checked that, and they've just published that. And so their products then have these odd things. They may argue we give them better marketing as a result of that, bringing it up on slides like this. But I think in general, it's probably not the best way to describe your products. So I think the point of all these examples is that if you want to have a high-quality production model, you don't just want a model that has overall general performance. You need to be able to bring it together with your data so it knows what it can and can't answer. It has accurate information about your pricing. It has accurate information about your products. You use your data to make sure that what it says and what it does is correct. So at Databricks then, this is why we've introduced the concept of data intelligence. It's one thing being able to build a Gen AI model. It's one thing having data, but you want to bring those two together. And when you do that, then you can actually truly have what we call data intelligence in your organization and have a true data intelligence platform that not only allows you to address those kind of production challenges, but also allows you to democratize data within your organization that I'll speak a bit more about in a minute. So looking at Databricks then, because you own the data in Databricks and because you can build and own the models, you can have that end-to-end control. You can choose, because you have the same unified governance layer across both, you can choose what data is used with what models and vice versa. And you can provide that customization very easily without having to integrate products. Similarly, we don't just focus on giving you a great model, and I'll talk about DBRX in a minute. We look at the whole life cycle of a model. You know, how do you process the data to feed it in the right way? How do you do prompt engineering? How do you create vectors and embeddings to trigger things like RAG? We then allow you to very easily build and deploy those models, but most importantly, monitor them so you can iterate and constantly improve in those. And on Databricks, it's not just about, hey, you've got to use our model. With our model serving capability, you can go from models that you build yourself, whether you use our technology or Hugging Face, Mosaic, and the things. We make a range of foundation models available to you as well, both for sort of generation and chat-like capabilities as well as embeddings. So you can then build on top of those models and refine those. But also, we recognize that in an organization, you're going to get to probably tens, hundreds of different use cases on Gen AI. And that is going to need different combinations of different models. And so in many examples, you may want to use third-party solutions like OpenAI, Anthropic and such. And so you can directly call out and leverage those models while still having one place to manage the productionization, the production management of your end-to-end applications. And so that's one of the reasons why we've introduced DBRX. So this is now the highest performing open source model out there. There's a few really interesting things about it. It's a mixture of experts model, so it has 16 different experts that you use 2 at any one time, which really helps update and really improve accuracy, but whilst being incredibly fast. Now, what's really cool about this is fully open source. You can go and look at the model on things like GitHub, or you can play with it in Databricks today. But the way it's been built is incredibly cost efficient to leverage, which I think is really exciting given the performance it brings. But I think the cool thing about DBRX is that we make the technology that we've used to build DBRX available to you within the platform to build your own models. And that's why we acquired Mosaic in Databricks, because they're able to build, they establish frameworks that have massively reduced the cost of building and deploying models. I think over the last few years, they brought that down by like 40 times. And so as time goes on, it just becomes ever more accessible to build your own models. And I think what we see in Databricks is that, yes, these massive third-party models are great, but more and more we're going to see people wanting to build a much more focused, smaller, lighter weight model for their business, for a particular use case. It'd be cheaper to build, it'd be cheaper to deploy, and it'd be much easier to govern things like hallucination. You know, if these massive models, if they know everything from teaching you French to cooking to history to things, there's always huge risk of weird hallucinations you haven't thought about. If you have a more narrow, focused model that you've built, then you've got much more control over that. So Databricks then looks to then provide that range of different architectural patterns that you need to overcome those practical challenges of getting your model into production in a safe, governed way. You can do prompt engineering on your data, so important to make sure it gives the right context to answer the question. I think whatever solution you're building, it needs to have RAG, where you do retrieval augmented generation to make sure the answer is accurate, well-governed, and relevant to your business. And you can only do that if you can bring your data together with the model really well. We enable you to build your own models, fine-tune foundation models, and leverage third-party, all from scratch, or all built on top of things that are readily available. So that's really what the data intelligence platform and the idea from Databricks is. It's bringing together the way you can manage all of your data, not only service that for BI, reporting, data science, advanced analytics, but be able to bring that together with Gen AI so you can address all those production challenges of getting a safe, accurate, governed model into production. But not only that, because we have those capabilities, you know, Unity Catalog tracks end-to-end how you bring data into the platform, how you process it, how you build models from that, how you deploy that. It truly understands your business. I actually think it understands your data world and your business more than any one individual can. And we can use that then to bring semantics and understanding to Gen AI for your business. So what we really want to do using Project Genie is turn that into a way to democratize data within your platform. So if I ask even a basic question like, can you give me sales and profit broken down by product grouping and region? Now, every business defines regions differently, it defines its products differently, even can define product and sales by different definitions. So you don't just need a chatbot that understands those words, a Gen AI model that understands those words. You need it to understand what that means in your business in different areas and how you process that. And that's what Unity Catalog powered by Gen AI does. That's what this data intelligence gives you. So you can now, within Databricks and things like our data rooms, just ask that natural language question, and because it understands your data, it will go and answer that question in a really accurate way, bring that information back to you. So we hope there's a whole range of ways that we're leveraging this in the platform. We'd love to show you that. But it's really how we can then bring data to everyone in the business without anyone actually needing to be a data expert. They can just ask their question, and it's the intelligent engine that is the expert on your data. Brilliant. Well, look, thank you very much for listening to me. The thing I'll leave you with is that it's great to have models that are looking at ever more accurate. But if you want to get those into production, you've got to bring those together with your data. You've got to address the challenges of accuracy, safety, and governance. And you really need data intelligence that allows you to just drive great quality services to your customers. Thank you very much for listening to me.